name and address, of course, sir.
Sure. Michael Bell, 3317 13th Place, Kenosha, Wisconsin. In September of 2008, then County Executive Alan Keel, who previously served 8 years as a Kenosha County Sheriff, was sentenced to 2 years in prison. And just last week, felony charges were recommended against Pleasant Prairie Director John Steinbrink Jr. Both events happened because of a whistleblower. A whistleblower informs authorities that questionable acts are being committed, acts that threaten public health or safety, or an abuse of authority has occurred. Earlier this year, I disclosed to this council that KPD Officer Albert Gonzalez, while under oath, identified a fifth officer as an eyewitness to the shooting of my son. The very next day, an FBI agent sent me an email stating that he had arranged for a possible forensic examination of the dash cam video of my son's death. He asked if it would be able for me to place the video file on a thumb drive and turn it over to the FBI. This raw video, which the Kenosha Police says it doesn't have, and the encrypted software to play it, which the Kenosha Police said it also doesn't have, was turned over to the FBI on May 6th. On June 27th of this year, I received a phone call from that same agent. He now asked me for specific audio targets on that dash cam video. I provided these targets the next day. Audio targets included an eyewitness hearing an officer saying, "What did you do that for? That wasn't necessary. Get help now." And an officer ordering Michael's mother to "don't look at that" regarding an officer's blue uniform epaulet that was hanging from a car mirror. It's kind of funny how technology that didn't exist 17 years ago is being used to filter out siren noise to hear underlying police conversation now. Last month, I provided the FBI a link to an investigation conducted by an academic fraud expert and a retired FBI agent. His name was Alan Essel. The report was on the academic credentials of City Administrator and former Chief of Police John Morrissey. In his report, Essel wrote, "It is my opinion that no credibility should be given to the purported Kaplan College's College for Professional Studies Bachelor of Science degree dated 9/19/2001 as contained in the personnel file on John Wesley Morrissey from the city of Kenosha in Wisconsin. I ask that if Kenosha's human resources had done their due diligence and the questions that his investigative report raised during John Morrissey's confirmation, would Morrissey have been confirmed? If this council knew that the signature on his transcripts were not of any register, that the proctors that were required for dozens of courses, and Morrissey couldn't remember any of them, and the director of that college's criminal justice program said she never approved of anybody to take so many classes, would this council have confirmed him? If it would have mattered then, it should matter now. Please recall that in a use of force investigation, and I have an ad of it right here, of Keenan Smith, Chief John Morrissey asked for secrecy. He said that he's not giving up his cell phone numbers to avoid open records, and he also asked for changes in an independent report. I strongly believe that there is a history of this type of conduct here. For those that are watching from home and want to see this report, please visit Facebook Plea for a Change, the Michael Bell shooting, and the full report, 284 pages, are there in its entirety. In closing, I ask two final questions. Who within the city is blocking the 17-year-old bullet from being released, and why?
30 seconds.
I'm sure it's not the janitor down the hall. I'm sure it's not HR. And what would the consequences be if Mayor Antorini would face politically from John Morrissey if Antorini ordered an investigation into this so-called fraudulent degree? Thank you.